Hi, everyone, and welcome to our week 10 video. It's super exciting. We only have about a month left in the course, which is great. And so we're moving on to one of our next big final projects, which is working in Photoshop. Photoshop is a super exciting program. You probably have heard about it, or maybe you've had the opportunity to play around with it a little bit. We're really going to delve into it. You're going to be able to start manipulating photos, blending images together, which is extremely powerful. And then combining that with what you've learned about color and typography for this week and next week's project. So it's really going to be an exciting week or two. And for me in my career, this is probably one of the things that I've done the most when it comes from a graphic design perspective is work on creating a message for a product and then picking out the images, making them work, and figuring out a way to kind of inject something interesting into it so it catches people's attention. And that will be your challenge this week. So it's going to be a great week. It's going to be pretty exciting for you to be able to do that. Um, I'm creating this video this week as a little bit of hopefully a really, really helpful resource for you. In this project, there are quite a lot of elements, and any one of them could kind of get overlooked, and frequently they do. So, this video, I'm really going to try to emphasize the things that you need to make sure your design has, and I'm going to point you towards some really helpful resources for getting these ads started off on the right foot. So midway, you're not having to change too much in that week too. You already have a clear understanding of what you need to do, and you're not going to have to be changing your images or your product or something along those lines that's going to be very time consuming at that point. Okay, so hopefully this video will help answer any questions you have about that up front. Let's go ahead and jump over to iLearn. I'm going to briefly tell you a little bit about the project. Of course, you will be reading that yourself, so we'll keep this a little bit simple, but you will turn in your project report, part 1 this week and part 2 next week. But here's what we're going to be doing. We are going to be creating a creative ad and kind of based on those sketches that you did last week. In it, you need to have 2 images that you blend together, okay, in a way that conveys some sort of message. So already you have your product and you have your target audience. You should have got that from the generator. If you didn't get it, if you didn't do that part of the assignment, you can jump down to the generator here. All right, so you're not creating a new product for this project. You're using the one that you did last week. Then you will determine a specific brand. Example I put on the discussion board was, say you got microwaves, okay? Well, then microwave is your product. The specific brand for your product would be, for example, KitchenAid. Then you would include the company logo on the design. All right, let's talk about that for a brief moment. I want you to make sure that whichever design you come up with, you are able to acquire a logo relatively easy. Okay, well, how would you do that? You might think you'd go KitchenAid images, and then, oh, let me put in logo. So those are super cute, but we don't need those. Okay, you download one of these, right? That's what you might think. This is pretty cute. I'd be inclined to download something like that. But here's what you want to do instead. You want to type in KitchenAid logo PNG. Okay, this is a type of file that has a transparent background. When you download this file, your images that you select are going to be visible behind it. It's instantly going to make your design look about 200% more professional than if you had a white background or a black background that you have to crop around. Now, see kind of this hash in the background. Sometimes it will appear as a gray and white grid. This is just telling you that this is a PNG file. All right, so you can go here, and I actually just discovered this as I was answering the discussion board question. But here are all the logos for Whirlpool and for all the brands they own. So I'd come down to KitchenAid and I would download this ping file. All right, so whatever you decide to do, try to pick a brand that you can locate a ping file for it. You don't have to. You can go into Photoshop and you can select this white background and delete it. But it's one more step that you're adding to your project. So this could be a great time saver for you. Okay, the next thing is you will do two images blended together. All right, you do not need to take these images, but they do need to be legally obtained. Let's talk about what that is going to look like from a perspective of you going out and finding these images. All right, there are two ways that you could do this. First of all, it's pretty straightforward. You could go to a site like Pixabay, Pexels, Unsplash, and download images from them. All right, so let's say, I guess we can just keep on going with our theme of if I'm doing a microwave. All right, so I can look for an image, something I want to use. Now I'm keeping on scrolling because these images are pretty busy. And my goal is that I want to find something that has white space in it. And these I don't love, they look a little cartoonish. All right. So maybe instead of microwave, maybe I would put in kitchen. And then if I couldn't find something that I liked in kitchen, maybe I'd do modern kitchen. And I'd keep on looking until I found something that has some nice clear space in it. Okay. So I'm not saying anything I love right off the bat as a good example, but I would keep looking until I found something. Maybe I need to go in and type in modern kitchen. You don't want to select these images on the top. These are Shutterstock images and you have to pay for them. See how they have the watermark on them? These ones down here are the free ones. Okay, so I keep on looking around until I find something that I really like that has a good amount of white space in it. Okay, I could use something like this, but it's still actually, from a visual perspective, a little bit busy. There's a lot going on in that image. So that's one of the main things you need to be looking at when you're selecting your image. And all of these kitchen images are going to be pretty busy and pretty difficult to work with because they have a lot going on and they're not going to allow for a lot of room for my logo, for my written text, for my slogan, all those things that need to fit on there for this assignment. These images aren't the best for them. Okay, so that's one thing. Pay particular attention to. Okay, maybe I'm saying maybe this is hot chocolate, and instead of having the microwave, I would have something about, your beverage on the go, wherever you are, KitchenAid or something. This would be a better image to select because look at all this visual white space where I can put the logo, where I can put a slogan. Okay, so I have two images. And with those two images, I need to blend them together. Now, you're going to learn about that in the worksheet, how to blend your images together. And that's really the heart of this assignment, blending these two images together in a way that sends me some sort of message. All right. So you are avoiding a literal message. You're sending me some sort of symbolic message. So let's look at this awesome example right here. Okay, so here are two images, right? Obviously, you have this background, this beautiful nature. Look at how much white space. It's black, but it's just empty space for you to put your written and your logo in. And then instead of in this light bulb, you have a world. So this is probably three images blended together. One image here, the nature, the light bulb, and then the world. Now, this sends a non literal message about how, with these light bulbs, you're lighting up the world one light bulb at a time, and it's eco friendly. And it's not super, oh, it's four images. See, here's the fourth one. It's not super, super straightforward. It's not, hey, you're sitting in the dark, you need a light bulb. Okay, so think about that. If you need some really, really good examples, feel free to check out the link I posted here in the announcement of past student examples. See how much white space is on this image? This Oreo one has a lot of white space. Even something like this skateboard image, you would think, it's kind of busy, but look at all this white space down here. Okay, so really, really look for that. That is going to take your designs to that next professional level. This was one of my students last semester, and her images she blended is the highlighter here. I'll make this bigger, the highlighter, and then the image of this guy. She found a tutorial for how to rip this picture in half and then drew over it in highlighter. All right, so she has a few things together, but look at this beautiful white space, okay? Remember to insert that into this design. It's super critical. It's going to make all the difference in your designs, and I promise you it's going to make the process much easier too, okay? So, and then you need some written content, original and creative headline. That's your slogan, body copy. KitchenAid microwaves are the best since 1977, and a call to action. KitchenAid available at Sears. You got to have that on there. People often overlook this call to action. Tell the person where you can buy it, tell them what you want to do. It can be as simple as wear Crocs or, whatever, but you need to have some call to action on there. All right, then you are going to do these in 2 different sizes, and here are the size specifications. So make sure you take a look at those. It's super applicable to the real world when you have to design something in 2 different sizes for 2 different audiences. So this is a really good skill to have. All right, so I went over that kind of fast and furious, but a lot of times one of those elements will get overlooked, and it's super important that all of these aspects are on here because this is a pretty detailed minimum expectations. Just so you know, this portion is worth 15 of the 25 points for your grade. The second aspect of your grade is just filling out this project report, part 1 and part 2 for your final for this week. Obviously, you just do part 1. That's worth 3 points. Now, the remaining 7 points are this down here, design expectations. You will be graded on your understanding, application, and integration of principles of design, typography, color, and photography. Okay, and also evidence of original thinking and skillful use of concepts. So this is worth 7 points. This is often the difference between an A and a B, is your using of the principles of design. So important for this assignment. Remember those design principles: contrast, repetition, alignment, etc. I need to see those popping up. And the second thing is typography. Then color. I want to see some nice, solid color schemes for any of your designs, and then good photographic choices. All right. So a reminder for typography is please, please, please don't forget about your friendly friend over here, dafont.com. All right, really mix it up on those font selections. Yes, you can make good choices and have a good design with the default fonts in Photoshop, but honestly, it's not as likely as if you come in, you download something really nice to contrast with something that's already existing on your computer, okay? That's just going to make it look so much more professional if you can do something like this. All right, so don't forget about that element of it, super important. And then those images. One other thing with the images I did want to show you. So you can go to one of these sites, Pexels, etc., or you can actually do a Google search. Okay, so let's say we are going to combine our microwave with hot cocoa and maybe do something cute with that. Now, how do you search for images that you can legally use, which you are required to do in this course, is have legally used images. You click here under images. Now you are going to go to tools, do the drop down for usage rights. You can say labeled for reuse. And that's automatically going to give you images that it's totally fine for you to use in this course. You can also come in and you could say, if you want it to be of people, you could say face and do something fun with a microwave is one step from a good time or something, Okay, so you can play around. And then also, another helpful thing is size. If you're finding yourself getting very small images, you can click on large, and that's going to help you out when it comes to this. All right. So that is one thing that may prove helpful when you're putting together those images. So those are a few of the things that it's extremely helpful for you to know while you're working on this project. Just from the beginning, it's going to make it a lot easier if you're starting out and using images with white space, blending them together in a non-literal way with some really cool contrasting typography that'll get you off to a good start. Okay, so if you want to do something that maybe I don't think there are too many products there that might work into, a church type promotion, but maybe there would be. So you could go into lds.org, click on the media library, and you actually probably will be surprised the amount of just images that they have here. Let's see, we come up, click on images, and then you can find high quality images for print. Click on this or view all images collection. If you click on view all images collection, it is going to display a little oddly at the moment, but there's going to be a lot of images that you can select from children to plants, things, places. Okay, all of these images you can use, and some of them are really, really great and super easy, and they might tie in really nicely. Just remember to look for those ones that have the built-in white space. This image of the girl on the sand is a great example of that, okay? And so this could be a helpful resource for you as well. Let's pick one that would not be a good example and then one that would. Okay, this one might be a little bit tricky because there's not that much availability for you to put your slogan and your logo. I mean, you could maybe tuck it in here, but it would be hard to see against this background. So think about that too. What font colors are going to stand out against your background? And this would be hard to figure out a way to blend this image with something else. Now, one that would be much better would be this. Look how much area you have to promote your product, your brand, and blend in whatever you're going to blend in. Maybe you have like a crazy pirate ship in the background and your product is sun hats, or sun hats take your little tyke from being on the sand to being a pirate. I don't know, but something like that. Okay, so think in terms of how your images are going to work together. I promise you it's going to pay off and create much less of a headache for you. All right, so I think that's everything. I really just wanted to share those things with you to hopefully get you all started out on the right foot, as opposed to having to go back and redo things once you understand kind of the end goal. I do want to mention here are some helpful videos. Sometimes we don't have any videos under the helpful videos section, but this week we do. There are some additional resources here that you can check out, and so that might be helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. This is a week where it will be great for you guys to help each other with anything that you've learned along the way. Okay, helpful Photoshop videos. This is populated this week. All right, so I think that is it for me. And I hope you guys all have a good week working in Photoshop, learning a lot. It's a super awesome program. You're going to be able to do so much with it. So best wishes, and let me know if you need anything. Okay, thanks. Bye.